But I figured as a little extra bonus, I could go through some of the games I've downloaded on Xbox Live. So, get a little look, see if we can see this. That is, what's that? Oh, this is an indie game. Athleon, am I saying that right? It's a good little RPG actually. Quite short, but pretty good stuff. Applejack. This is probably the most charming platformer I've ever played in my life. Totally worth the amount of money I spent on it. I recommend everybody get this game and check it out. Real good stuff. Avatar Chess. Just chess game. Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. As you can see, that I've got full gamer score on both of those. Because like I say, I'm such a big fan of them. I completed them multiple times on the kart versions and these versions. Let's moving on. Oh, we have Bionic Commando Rearmed. Not really a huge fan of the series, but thought I'd check it out. Bejeweled 2. Quite have a Bejeweled gaming, yeah. Beyond Good and Evil HD. Now this is stunning. This is superb. Everyone get this. This is one of the greatest adventure games ever made. If you can't download it, you can find copies on GameCube, PlayStation 2. I think it was even on the Xbox, original Xbox as well. But obviously try get it in this version or on the PlayStation 3 because it's got the HD element to it. Plus you also giving Ubisoft a bit of money to prove that this game is totally worth making a sequel for. What we got here? Bomberman Live. Some awesome Bomberman. Got a bit of Braid. You can see there, look, I'm missing that one achievement. The time trials. For Christ's sake, that's difficult. I just, for the life of me, I can't do it. No matter how hard I try, I can't get that one. Where are we over here? There's another indie game there. Got Breath of Death 7, The Beginning. It's got like the official, like the old Nintendo. I love the way they've designed this game. It's designed to look like the old NES style RPG games, and obviously, as you can see, it's taken the title. It's taken from straight away from the Breath of Fire series, the Final Fantasy series, and the Dragon Quest series, and even Phantasy Star there as well. It's got like the little seal of awesomeness, which is like the old Nintendo seal of approval. It's a good game. I'd recommend everybody check it out. And there's another one as well, and I can't for the life of me think what it's called, but there's another. It's not called Breath of Death, it's called something else. But real good stuff. And then we got classic Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I can't really say anything about that game that hasn't already been said. Try and get it on the PlayStation if you can. It's very expensive these days though. I believe it to be a little overpriced when you can get it on here for quite a bit cheaper. Then we have Contra. That's the first Contra, which wasn't called Contra here. It was called like Protobots or Protractorbots. I can't think what it's called. Something about robots. It's a good little shooter. Crazy Taxi, classic arcade game. Better on the Dreamcast, but this is a solid version. Dash of Destruction. It's one of the free games you get on Xbox Live. Daytona USA. Just old school Sega driving game. Good stuff. Doom. I actually have several versions of Doom. My favourite one being the 32X, which I no longer own actually. But in my opinion, that was by far the greatest Doom. Like console version of Doom anyway. I will always go to playing it on my PC though. I picked up the id pack on Steam, which is like Doom, Quake. I got all of Doom and all of Quake. I think I can't remember. I think there was Wolfenstein in there as well, but I didn't get them ones. I got like the cheaper version of it. It was Crash Course. Another one of them free games from Doritos. Better off playing it with a controller over a Kinect, I believe. Final Fight Double Impact. Now, I can't remember... Oh, let me just click on this quickly, because the reason I bought this was for the second game on the system. And what is it called? Oh, Magic Sword. Now, I love Magic Sword. Magic Sword, I prefer it over Final Fight, personally. Not that Final Fight is a bad game, but, you know, that's... You know, it's good stuff. Frogger. I love Frogger. Can't get enough of that, really. Then we have the Game Room, which is a game for Windows Live, and this is kind of like dead now, I suppose. I personally love the concept. I love playing old school games, and they were really well ported. And these were legit ways to play these games rather than getting an emulator and downloading them. And some of these, like the arcade versions of like Asteroids, is as close to as perfect as you can get, really. I still I've got quite a few games in there, but you know, no one plays it anymore. They don't update it anymore, so it's kind of pointless now, I suppose. Gauntlet. You can't get this game on here anymore, I don't think. I think they've taken it off. It was actually the first game I downloaded to my Xbox. Gotta love some Gauntlet. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. Everyone knows about this. They've either got this or the sequel. I believe the sequel's better, but I've not played it personally. I've heard it's better though. Golden Axe. Again, classic Sega. Awesome Sauce. Halo Waypoint. Everyone got Halo. Harm's Way. It's another one of the 3 Doritos games. I think this is the last of them. It's actually quite fun. Out of all of the 3 that you've seen so far, I'd check this one out the most. I made a game with zombies in it. This is great stuff. This is you know, like them top-down games where you're shooting, like kind of like Smash TV kind of thing, but with the real awesome-looking, outlandish enemies, over-the-top music. Great fun to try and beat each other, your friends' high scores with. I don't think it has an online leaderboard, which is the only thing I'd say that it lacks, or even online play. I don't think it's got online play, but you get 4 of your friends around and you got nothing to do. Whack this game in and play it. It's good stuff. Let's Learn Japanese Beginner. It's a pretty poor way of trying to learn Japanese, I must say. Marble Blast Ultra. It's cool stuff. This is probably this is my favourite fighting game on the system that I own, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but it's not the best on it. I'd say Street Fighter Third Strike Online is probably the best, but I don't own that, so this is my favourite fighting game. Metal Slug Double X, probably the worst Metal Slug. Even the pocket versions of Metal Slug were better than this, I think. 3 for me is the high point of the series. Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition. This is great. I'm going to download the second one eventually when I can be bothered. But I like point and click adventure games, and this is great stuff. Highly recommend checking out these special edition versions. NBA Jam on Fire Edition. I remember used to playing NBA Jam on the Mega Drive. And had to get this when it came out. Outpost, what's that? Kalaoki? I don't know. Terrible with my pronunciations of some of these games. Kind of a cool sort of simulation sort of game, I suppose, is what you'd call it. It's very hard to comment on unless you've tried it. It's worth checking out, at least. I wouldn't go well out of your way, though. Pac-Man, quality arcade stuff, which is also included on that Namco Museums that I showed you earlier. Phantasy Star 2. Classic RPG there. It's good stuff. Plants vs. Zombies. Very strange and very addictive. That's the play online viewer for Final Fantasy 11. Res HD. This is how you make a music game without it having an instrument. If you haven't played Res, do it in some form. Obviously, the best way to do it would be this version here or the PlayStation 3 download version, because of the extra, the HD, which is obviously a bonus. I installed Rock Band 2 on my hard drive because I was having problems with the disc. And there's the Rock Band music store, which is skipped by entirely. Shinobi, which is actually the arcade version, which I'm so glad it is, because that is a great game. Not that the other versions are rubbish, but the arcade is the best version, I think. Good stuff. Shoot 1 Up. It's another indie game. It's a shoot 'em up, shmup, as they say. Very strange, as you can tell by the cover there. I'd recommend checking it out. It's not expensive and it's it's actually a good solid shooter. Small Arms, kind of like a Smash Bros clone, I suppose is what you'd call it. Quite a bit of fun. Then we have Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 4 Episode 1, Sonic Adventure, Sonic CD, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Sonic 3. I think the only one I'm missing is Sonic 1. And I believe Sonic 4 Episode 2 has come out now. I'm not sure. But Sonic 2 is my personal favourite. But you can't go wrong with any of these Sonic games, really. They're all top quality Sonic games. Although, I must say, Sonic Adventure does look a bit outdated now. For some reason. It just doesn't seem to play as well as it used to on the old Dreamcast. Then we have Sega Rally Online Arcade. It's good stuff. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. Suck at that game so hard, it's unreal. Streets of Rage 2, another classic Sega game. Super Meat Boy. Awesome Sauce. Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, which is essentially the same as Hyper Fighting, but with the new graphics and different characters. Tempest, another game I completely suck at. The Dishwasher Dead Samurai. Very strange game, but very cool at the same time. Impossible game. It really is impossible. I wouldn't even bother trying to play it. It's impossible. I bet you're going to download it now, aren't you? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1989 Classic Arcade. Blah, that was a mouthful. It's alright. It's not quite as good as I remember it being. The Simpsons game is better. Track and Field. Awesome sports game. Damn, I love Track and Field. It's really hard to play it with this controller though. Because it hurts your hand. Simple as that. Trials HD. Awesome Sauce. Worms, which is actually the worst version on the Xbox Live Arcade. It was the only version available at the time. I bought it though. ER Kung Fu. Classic Konami. Great game. It's really old school style game. Like, I wouldn't recommend playing this unless you're into your old school games. But I love this game. It's a really, really good game. And then finally we have Zuma. Not Star Wars Zuma, no. Zuma. Which is